the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Year out of the gate for Tennessee, so he's going to have an expanded role with Dalton Connect and company departing. But when you look back at this past year, what would you say worked for Jahmai, what didn't, and one thing you'd like to see him get better at going into next year in a bigger role for Jahmai?
Well, I will just say to start, unless he gets injured, it will be his last year because he's not. We're done with COVID years in basketball.
Yeah.
So
that's right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is it for him, right?
This is it. Yeah, this is it. Unless he.
Okay, I was saying that, and I'm like, the COVID years has made everything complicated. Where I'm saying, this is it. But like, I'm like, yeah, you and I, like, when we're writing stuff, I'm like, I'm having to double check, and I'm like, I still don't feel great about that. Just putting, like, even Tennessee baseball players, where I'm like, that was his last pitch for the ball, and you're like, is it? I got to be careful here. Like, I think I'm 99% certain, but should I put that? But yes, Jahmai, I'm glad you said that, because I was doubting it for a second, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is it for Jahmai, no matter what.
Yeah, so I think, to me, maybe more than anybody on Tennessee's roster, Jahmai is who Jahmai is. He's an elite defender. He is capable at scoring at the basket in spurts, but you're just not going to expect a ton from him offensively. And so, while I don't think expecting some sort of big offensive jump in his fourth year is wise, what I do think is fair, and what he did improve on last year, was that he did shoot the three better. He shot 36% from three. He was really higher than that before. He didn't really shoot it very well in the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 when some teams challenged him to shoot it. But what never quite was there was the confidence. It just felt like he was still turning down open jumpers, especially if it wasn't in the corner. The corner seemed like the spot that he liked it, but on the elbows or the top of the key and the wings, he felt a little more hesitant. So to me, what I'm looking forward for Jahmai in a jump is just shooting a three-pointer with confidence. He doesn't have to shoot whatever I just said. He shot 36%. He doesn't have to shoot 36%. But if he can, instead of shooting 36% from three on 39 attempts over the course of the season, if he can shoot 33% from three on 60 attempts or 65 attempts, I like that, because that means teams are going to have to respect him from three a whole lot more. And I think that would open up some other things that he does well in his offensive game. And then it would just kind of help provide a little bit more consistent spacing for Tennessee. And it allows Tennessee to play him in a more extended minutes role. But even with some of his limitations last year, I think both of us were on board with the fact that he should have been playing more than he did on a night-to-night basis.
Yeah, no, I trust Jahmai. And he's like one of those guys, maybe he's like the Ensley for this team, where he needs to be on the floor in important basketball games for Tennessee. Like, Jahmai, no matter how you work with his minutes, like, he has to. I don't know how with this roster he is not involved in the closing five in every important game in the SEC tournament, in the NCAA men's tournament next year. Jahmai is going to be a factor, and I think Jahmai is just, like you said, when you look all across the board, he's probably, like, he's exactly who he is. Like, Rick Barnes does not have to wonder what he's going to get out of Jahmai Mashack on any given night. Like, He knows exactly what it is. But I also still do wonder if there's something else to unlock with him. Like, I think if I had to pinpoint something this offseason for Jahmai that I would love to see potentially him get more comfortable doing, is something we saw that he was forced to do 2 years ago when Zakai went down, which was lead ball handler. Because I think it's just such a different look for Tennessee if they can be successful and have a positive net differential, if Jahmai is able to do some lead point guard duties and just hound, because there's just so much good guard play in the sport now, that if you have Jahmai who's able to just defend 90 feet and like really, really hound team's best player, and Tennessee's offense doesn't crater with him in that role. Like, if you are able to have Chaz Lanier be effective off ball, if you're able to have Cam Carr develop in year two here, you have enough shooting that Jahmai can do some lead guard. Like we talked about it. Maybe it's Jordan Gainey. Maybe it's just Chaz Lanier as the backup guard when Zakai sits. Like, he just slides over and he runs point. I just think the more versatile you can be as a team, the better for everybody involved, because you never know what kind of matchup that Jahmai at the one could unlock some stuff for Tennessee. It might swing a game being able to use Jahmai in a different way. But I don't know. I think for me, if they can get Jahmai more and more comfortable with the ball in his hands as a distributor, as a pick and roll player, just being more comfortable as a passer, like that would be huge. Because I don't know if he'll ever be that comfortable with the shot. Like I just don't think that's probably the most realistic thing at this point in his college career. But what I do think is he does have a good feel for driving kicks, and I think there is something to with the amount of shooting on this particular Tennessee team with Igor, with Dubar, with everybody they have coming in here. Tennessee is going to pop a lot of threes, and I think there's an avenue for Jahmai to take that kind of backup point guard role if he can get there. I think it's possible. Am I crazy for buying some Jahmai backup point guard stock?
No, I don't think you're crazy. Especially if we're thinking, okay, maybe he's the guy to be the backup point guard. I just don't see when you kind of develop that more. I just don't see that. I don't see Jahmai being a pick and roll ball handler. I don't see Jahmai being a guy that's truly going to be comfortable running the offense in the point guard spot.
Yeah.
Can he do it some? Can he be more comfortable than he's been? Yeah, sure. Can he make you feel better about what you have at the backup point guard spot than maybe you felt at any time with any of the backup point guard options this year? Yeah, sure. This past year? Yeah. Sure. I just don't know if I really see it being something where it's like, all right, you've unlocked something with Jahmai at point guard in this game. Boom, this is a mismatch. You're going to run 15 minutes at Jahmai at point guard. I just I don't see that. I don't see it developing to that level.
Like 5 minutes of Jahmai on Sears. Like he's matched up with Sears, and Tennessee just does a weird lineup to just really, really annoy guys like that. Like if Jahmai can handle it.
I think you can do that without him playing point guard, you know?
True.
They did it in the Texas game when he guarded not Tyrese Hunter, the guard that was real good, the main scorer for Texas. I'm blanking on his name.
Dylan, was that?
No, that's that was the power forward who Josiah defended. Dylan Mitchell. That's not who
Mitchell.
I'm blanking on his name. I'm going to look it up here when you start talking again. But Tennessee did it in that game where they didn't put Zakai on. It's 2 point guards basically that played the 1 and the 2 for Texas, and they didn't put Zakai on the best one. They put Jahmai on him, and you can kind of move things around. And sure, there are probably some matchups where an opposing team's 2 guard is too big for Zakai to guard, or you don't feel good about it. But for the most part, I don't really think that's true. So I think Tennessee can kind of play with some of that versatility, no matter how they want to do it with Jahmai on the offensive end, or who's running the point on the offensive end.
I like it. Well, Ryan Schumpert, that's all I've got on this end. What can the good folks check out from you and the team over at RockyTopInsider.com this week?
Yeah, we have plenty of stuff, just kind of in off-season mode, so plenty of stuff on...
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.